Israeli forces have raided the largest functioning hospital in the Gaza Strip. Nasser Hospital in the central town of Khan Yunis was directly hit with tank fire overnight. Footage showed chaos, shouting and gunfire in dark corridors filled with dust and smoke. The Israeli army said that their raid came after information that Hamas terrorists were hiding in the hospital. They added that Hamas was also hiding hostages in the facility. Hamas has denied the allegations. The Yemen-based Houthi group has targeted a British vessel in the Gulf of Aden. The ship's captain sent out an alert about the strike, saying that there had been an explosion close by. Later, a Houthi spokesperson claimed responsibility for the attack. He identified the targeted vessel as a Barbados-flagged bulk carrier. The spokesperson said that the ship is owned by the British firm Helicon Shipping. Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, has said that Israel has no interest in a war with Lebanon-based Hezbollah. However, the soldiers must be prepared should a war break out. This comes after Hezbollah issued a warning saying that Israel will pay the price for killing 10 civilians in southern Lebanon. Cross-border fire between Israel and Hezbollah has intensified this week. Jordan's King Abdullah met with British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak at 10 Downing Street yesterday as a part of the King's diplomatic tour. Earlier in the week, he met with US President Joe Biden and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. He has been talking to world leaders about the situation in Gaza and ways to mitigate the crisis. The Jordanian King is due to meet French President Emmanuel Macron today. Defense ministers from the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, met in Brussels yesterday. They discussed ways to strengthen the bloc's deterrence and defense capabilities. The defense ministers also discussed ramping up the production of ammunition to support Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg also announced that NATO and Ukraine will create a new analysis, training and education center in Poland. Ukrainian missiles hit the Russian city of Belgorod yesterday. 6 people, including a 1-year-old girl, were killed. At least 18 others were injured. Belgorod is the nearest major Russian city to the border with Ukraine. It has frequently come under attack since the Russia-Ukraine war began. In December, Russian authorities said 25 civilians were killed in the largest attack on the city. Meanwhile, the US has warned that Russia could seize Ukraine's key eastern town of Avdiivka. White House spokesperson John Kirby said this during a routine press conference. He added that Ukrainian troops in the region lacked artillery ammunition to fight back. Earlier, Ukraine said it was pulling out troops from some parts of the town to redeploy them to other positions. British Foreign Secretary David Cameron met with Polish President Andrzej Duda in Poland's capital Warsaw yesterday. Earlier in the day, Cameron also met with his Polish counterpart Radosław Sikorski. During a joint news conference, both officials appealed to the US Congress to adopt an aid package for Ukraine. The Greek parliament has approved a bill allowing same-sex marriages in the country. The law gives same-sex couples the right to marry and adopt children. Greece is the first Orthodox Christian country to allow same-sex marriages. Supporters of the bill hailed the vote as a historic moment. Dozens of LGBTQ+ activists celebrated outside the nation's parliament in Athens after the verdict was announced yesterday. A criminal trial against former US President Donald Trump is officially set to begin on March 25th in New York. This comes after a judge rejected Trump's bid to dismiss the case. The case alleges that he falsified business records to cover up hush money payments to adult movie star Stormy Daniels. Trump allegedly paid over $100,000 to Daniels before the 2016 US presidential election. This was to stop her from revealing the details of their affair. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva landed in Cairo for a two-day visit yesterday. He met with his Egyptian counterpart Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The two leaders discussed the upgrading of bilateral relations. El-Sisi said that they agreed to develop relations in various political, economic and other fields. Venezuela's government has told the staff of the United Nations human rights body to leave the country. It has given them 3 days to depart. Venezuela has alleged that the organization is being used by the international community to spread a negative image of the country. The expulsion comes just 2 days after the UN agency expressed concern over the detention of a prominent rights activist. In Mexico, striking truck drivers blocked key Mexican transport routes. They caused jams at major highways as they protested against what they called lawlessness on the roads. The truckers say that there is a rise in robberies and extortion. They added that about 2 truck drivers are killed on the roads every month due to the lack of safety. Kuwait has dissolved its parliament. Kuwait's Emir Sheikh Meshal Al-Ahmad Al-Sabah issued a decree stating the dissolution. This was after lawmakers used language against him which was deemed offensive, violating the country's constitution. It's the 3rd time since June 2022 that Kuwait's elected National Assembly has been disbanded. In climate news, a wildfire has been burning in the Port Hills area near the city of Christchurch in New Zealand. This has forced the evacuation of over 100 homes in Christchurch. Firefighters have been scrambling to contain the blaze. Authorities have also declared a state of emergency in Christchurch and the neighbouring district of Selwyn. The flames have burned about 650 hectares of land so far. An oil spill in the Caribbean island of Tobago is entering the waters of Grenada. It also threatens to impact the nearby country of Venezuela. This comes 8 days after a vessel capsized and spilled oil near Trinidad and Tobago's coastline. The vessel continues to leak fuel into the water. According to reports, Kazakhstan suffered one of the worst methane leaks in history last year. Around 127,000 tons of gas escaped from a remote well in western Kazakhstan. This was after a blowout occurred at the gas well last June. It led to a fire that raged for over 6 months. The leak has been quantified, and it is apparently the equivalent of driving more than 700,000 petrol cars for a year. Methane is a much more potent greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. Climate activists barged into the office of Canada's finance minister. They were demanding a change in regulation for banks in Canada's 2024 federal budget. They want to prevent Canadian banks from investing in carbon-producing companies. Coral reefs in the U.S. state of Florida are struggling to recover from last year's heat wave. This is according to the American National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Scientists say Florida's waters experienced hot tub-like conditions last July, leading to coral damage. Coral reefs have been declining in Florida since the 1970s. This is due to human activity, global warming, and hurricanes. Locust outbreaks could get worse in the near future. This is according to a new study in the US-based Science journal. It says that extreme weather conditions will likely contribute to bigger locust outbreaks. Currently, these outbreaks are most severe in countries like Morocco, Kenya, and Pakistan. However, Iran, Afghanistan, and India could emerge as the new locust hotspots. On to business and tech news. OpenAI has introduced an artificial intelligence model that can create videos from text instructions. The software is called Sora. It can create a video of up to 60 seconds based on prompts received. Sora is currently available to only a limited number of creators. OpenAI has granted its access to some visual artists, designers, and filmmakers for feedback. Microsoft has announced a $3.44 billion investment plan for Germany. The funds will go towards doubling Microsoft's data center and AI infrastructure. The firm will also train over 1.2 million people in the country for AI skills. This is Microsoft's biggest investment in Germany in the last 40 years. Google is reportedly planning to launch a campaign against misinformation in the European Union. This comes ahead of the EU's parliamentary election scheduled for June this year. Under the campaign, Google plans to run ads and surveys against misinformation in 5 EU countries. These are Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, and Poland. Yesterday, a private lunar mission took off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center. If successful, this could be the first private lander to make it to the lunar surface. The lander, called Odysseus, is built by Houston-based firm Intuitive Machines. It is expected to touch down near the moon's south pole on February 22nd. If all goes as planned, it would be the first successful US moon mission in over 5 decades, the one after Apollo 17. The UK economy has slipped into a recession. The country recorded a decline in growth for the second straight quarter from October to December. In the final quarter last year, the UK's GDP declined by 0.3%. For the whole year, the country's GDP grew by only 0.1%. Britain is the second G7 country to have fallen into a recession after Japan. Aerospace giant Airbus saw its core profits rise to $6.2 billion in 2023. This is more than a 4% increase compared to the previous year. Airbus's core profits jumped on the back of bumper jet orders and higher deliveries in 2023. The firm delivered 735 aircraft last year. It further plans to deliver about 800 aircraft in 2024. Airbus expects to earn up to $7.5 billion in profits for this year. Car maker Stellantis is expecting a turbulent year ahead in 2024. The company has said that its car sales will be disrupted by macroeconomic and political issues this year. For 2023, Stellantis reported an 11% rise in annual profits. Another top executive at General Motors' self-driving car unit, Cruise, has resigned. Yesterday, the firm's senior vice president, Carl Jenkins, said that he is stepping down. This comes as the Cruise unit is embroiled in controversies. Last year, its operations were suspended in the US. This was after its self-driving car dragged a pedestrian for 6 meters in San Francisco. Following the incident, Cruise's then CEO, Kyle Vogt, and co-founder Dan Kan had resigned. Lockheed Martin is ramping up production of its weapon systems to meet rising demand. The firm aims to double the production of its artillery rocket systems by the end of the year. Lockheed added that the production of anti-tank missile system Javelin will also be increased. Demand for weapon systems have risen amid wars in Ukraine and Gaza. US cryptocurrency exchange Coinbase Global has reported its first quarterly profit since 2021. The firm earned over $270 million in the fourth quarter last year. During this period, Coinbase saw its transaction revenue jump by over 64%. This comes amid increasing interest in the cryptocurrency sector. Investors are enthusiastic about the newly approved Bitcoin ETFs. Bitcoin ETFs allow investment into the cryptocurrency's price movements without holding the coin itself. Moving to sport. In cricket, the third test between India and England kicked off yesterday in Rajkot. India won the toss and chose to bat first. Skipper Rohit Sharma and Ravindra Jadeja both scored centuries after India lost Yashasvi Jaiswal and Shubman Gill in the early overs in the first innings. Rohit and Jadeja built a fourth-wicket partnership of 204 runs on day one. Rohit Sharma's 131 was his 11th Test 100. Pakistan's cricket board has terminated the central contract of pacer Haris Rauf. This was after he refused to go on the test tour of Australia last year. Rauf didn't feature in the three-match test series as it clashed with his stint at Australia's T20 franchise tournament, the Big Bash League. The PCB said it will not allow Rauf to participate in any foreign T20 leagues until June 30th. New Zealand beat South Africa by 7 wickets in the second and final test match. The Black Caps were chasing a tricky target of 267. Kane Williamson was the star of the show with a score of 133 in the second innings. Having won the first test, New Zealand sealed the series 2-0. In football, striker Kylian Mbappe has told French giants Paris Saint-Germain, or PSG, that he intends to leave the club after his contract expires this summer. PSG are yet to make an official announcement about his exit. Mbappe is most likely to join Real Madrid when his contract at PSG expires. Lionel Messi returned to Inter Miami's starting 11 after a groin injury. The Major League Soccer club played a pre-season friendly against Newell's Old Boys yesterday. It ended in a 1-all draw. Messi who was removed in the 60th minute, thanked fans who came to watch Inter Miami's final match of the pre-season. He supported Old Boys in his youth and played for them from 1995 to 2000. South Korea's top football officials advised the sacking of the head coach of their national team. Coach Jurgen Klinsmann is under tremendous pressure after a Korea Football Association advisory committee suggested he be fired. South Korea crashed out in the semi-final at the AFC Asian Cup after losing to Jordan 2-0. In tennis, world number 2 Carlos Alcaraz continued his title defense at the Argentina Open. He registered a 6-7-5 straight-set win over local favorite Camilo Ugo Carabelli yesterday. Alcaraz's quarterfinal opponent is another Italian qualifier, Andrea Vavasori. Men's world number 4 and Australian Open champion Yannick Sinner has advanced to the quarterfinal of the Rotterdam Open. Sinner secured a 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 victory to oust French veteran Gael Monfils yesterday. Sinner now faces Canadian former world number 3 Milos Raonic. It was a battle between the former women's world number 1s at the Qatar Open. 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka's title bid came to an end. She went down fighting 6-7, 6-7 against fellow former world number 1 Karolina Pliskova. It was a rematch of their Brisbane meeting last month. In Formula One, Red Bull have unveiled their new RB20 car for the 2024 Formula One season. The new Challenger will be Red Bull's hope to defend their title in the year ahead. It will be driven by 3-time title winner Max Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez. All teams are bracing for pre-season testing that starts on February 21st. In entertainment news, the organizers of the Met Gala have announced the co-chairs for this year's event. Singer Jennifer Lopez, Bad Bunny, and actors Chris Hemsworth and Zendaya will serve as the co-chairs. They will host the event and help with fundraising and promotion of the Met Gala. The theme of the prestigious fashion event this year is Sleeping Beauty's Reawakening Fashion. It is scheduled for the 6th of May. The 74th Berlin Film Festival opened with the premiere of Cillian Murphy's Small Things Like These. Murphy attended the premiere alongside co-actor Emily Watson and producer Matt Damon. The film is based on a book by an Irish writer, Claire Keegan. The story revolves around the life of a devoted father who uncovers shocking secrets about his hometown's convent. The queen of Latin music, Shakira, is all set to release her first album in 7 years. The album is titled and it translates to Women Don't Cry Anymore. It will release on the 22nd of March. Talking about her album, Shakira said she rebuilt herself with every song that she wrote. The album consists of 16 tracks. Grammy Award-winning artist Dua Lipa has released a new single titled Training Season. This is the second song from her upcoming album, Third Studio. The song is her declaration of zero tolerance for unsatisfactory relationships. She shares her newfound confidence and growth with her listeners. The cast of Dune Part 2 attended a premiere of the film in London City. The lead actor Zendaya turned heads as she arrived in a see-through robot suit for the event, while Timothée Chalamet wore a pair of metallic pants with a black blouse. The actors like Rebecca Ferguson, Austin Butler and Anya Taylor-Joy were also in attendance. Dune Part 2 will release on the 28th of February. Actor Michelle Yeoh has been roped in to lead an upcoming film, The Mother. According to reports, her character is of an immigrant mother who is trying to survive in America. The action film will be directed by French actor-director Mélanie Laurent. The production of the film will start this summer. Actors Lupita Nyong'o and Chloe Grace Moretz will soon be taking on the roles of UFC fighters. They've been signed for an upcoming mixed martial arts drama film called Strawweight. The story is about two female fighters who compete against each other in the ring with the aim of wanting respect. UFC superstar Rose Namajunas will act as the fight consultant on the set. Meryl Streep will return for the fourth season of Only Murders in the Building. She will reprise her role of the Broadway star Loretta Durkin. The studio producer confirmed the news of her return. The upcoming season will be shot in Los Angeles. The release date is yet to be announced. Streaming platform Amazon Prime Video released the trailer of The Invincibles finale. This is the second part of its final season. The trailer gives a glimpse of the bloody, limb-snapping and high-octane action scenes in the episodes. The makers also teased a mysterious funeral towards the end. Part 2 of Invincible will start streaming on March 14th. Streaming giant Netflix announced the release of the fourth season of The Umbrella Academy. The final season of the superhero television series will air on the 8th of August this year. The cast members have called the final season wacky.
From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.